Welcome to Conversations Live, where we bring you the best in music, books, entertainment, and more. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 16 years of broadcasting, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience and those tuning in online. Very glad you all could be with us as well. Well, I think all of us in 2020 definitely know a lot more about the coronavirus or COVID-19 than we thought we would, right? And a lot of us have been impacted by it, either because of knowing someone who's been impacted or because of the way that the employment situation has happened with businesses being shut down. A lot of people actually lost their jobs or went without work because of COVID-19. Well, now that places are opening up, how can they be able to do it safely, and how can you feel more safe being able to go into businesses as well as to the workplace? We're excited to welcome Pouya Hashemi to our program today. He's going to tell us about what SpinTouch has been able to do with Rapid Screen, which is an access-controlled thermometer. As you know, one of the big things that people are doing these days is making sure that they are taking temperature. I want to talk to Pouya not only about why this has been so important for him, but also how Rapid Screen can be able to help us all to be able to navigate the world a little bit more safely. Pouya, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Cyrus. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Well, look, the pleasure is definitely all mine, Pouya. You know, this is a very timely topic, as I was just saying to you before we went on here. Here in my home state of Mississippi, you know, we've seen now, even in the past week, over 100 COVID-19-related deaths. You know, we're still getting the reminders, of course, of being safe as we're kind of navigating the world as things are opening up. What has it been like for you, and also through SpinTouch, to be able to offer this technology to be able to help businesses to do it safely?
Oh, it's been great to essentially bring up a technology that achieves that for many businesses around the country. The fact is that we're trying to start up the economy again, getting out of quarantine. Needed a safe way to do that, to screen employees and customers, and This is essentially that product. It's not going to solve every problem with COVID, obviously. It's meant to kind of interact with one particular topic, which is screening for high temperatures and screening for potential fevers for people that are coming into different establishments.
Pouya, I think you would agree, and I think for myself, I not only have had friends of mine that have tested positive for COVID, but I actually have lost individuals that are friends of mine to the coronavirus as well. You know, I think for a lot of us, this does become more quote-unquote real as we do have it kind of hit us close to home. What has that been like for you? Because I think a lot of times as people hear about things like this, they think, well, that's not going to happen to me. What has it been like for you to be able to realize not only, of course, how it can happen to us, but also how it does impact all of us?
Yeah, and you know, to be very frank with you, I felt the same way. I'm fairly young myself. I'm in my 30s. Felt that this wouldn't affect me. And back in January, I came down with a really horrible bug. I thought it was just a typical bug or the flu or cold at the time during my vacation in Hawaii. And it was like no other. It really knocked me down, and I went to urgent care. At the time, they didn't know what it was. They tested me for flu. And it didn't come back, and they just kind of prescribed me just over the counter stuff, and they really, again, didn't know what it was, and I don't think at the time I knew much about COVID. COVID was really not really talked about in the news, and luckily, obviously, I survived it. I came out of it. A couple months back, I decided to get my COVID antibody test, because everyone was always asking me, like, hey, you know, that time you got really sick, was that COVID? Was that potentially COVID? And it was always in the back of my mind. So I did test positive for COVID antibodies. And what that means is I had COVID at one time, and now I have the antibodies to kind of interact with the virus potentially affecting me in the future. Which was really, really eye-opening.
Right. I think that is so powerful, and I appreciate you sharing that with us, Pouya. And I think it goes to another point, and something that we're hearing now even in the news when it comes to ages, how some of these newer cases are even impacting younger people. So it does bring back, again, the importance of the knowledge, right, of knowing, as you're getting ready to go into a place. I know I took my dad to a recent medical procedure, and for the first time ever, as I was walking in, the building had their security actually take my temperature. So I think that's a great segue then to Rapid Screen. Talk to us about Rapid Screen, how this kind of came about, and the way that it's able to, as I said, to really be able to provide us this opportunity to check temperature and do it in a way that prevents the contact.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I run a company called Spin Touch. We do all sorts of interactive storytelling experiences, from touch screens in AR, VR, you name it, anything really kind of futuristic. We worked with a lot of Fortune 500 companies, and since COVID this outbreak came about, our business kind of came to a standing still moment where nobody was doing events, nobody was really doing new projects or construction. So it really put a halt on our business, and having known that I kind of survived COVID, to kind of come up with a strategy or an idea that would not only help pivot our company into something that we can bring back our employees and get back to work, but help others within the economy to kind of fight this virus head on. So that's where the idea of Rapid Screen came. And it's not a new invention by any means. This kind of technology has been around for a number of years. And it's more about kind of building it the way we wanted to build it, that would really work for the U.S. market, the way that data is managed, and different types of components that are within the system. But to kind of put the capabilities in a nutshell, it's you walk up to the screen and it automatically detects your temperature. It gives you a pass-fail, and then that person can kind of walk right into the building from there on. And its main purpose, I would say, out of anything, is to avoid that manual process of having a screener, which maybe that's what you're kind of hinting that you went through. There was a person that screened you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that manual process is good, but there's some problems with it, right? There's one, it's expensive. You have to have a full-time person, and maybe two, because there's potential of taking lunch breaks or other types of breaks throughout the process. So you have to have someone on staff that's always there. And two, you can't do the social distancing, right? You have to get into a certain comfort zone with the person to be able to screen them. And doing that repetitively and effectively, making sure everyone's safe, it's very hard to do, as well as managing those records. So this machine, Rapid Screen, temperature kiosk, is essentially doing all that, but doing it much more automated and a lot safer. And overall, it's much more cost effective for the business.
And I think you mentioned a few things there, Pouya, that I think our audience will really appreciate, especially for those who are running businesses. For one, of course, I mean, you're not taking away those man hours, right? I mean, from someone just doing this particular job, being able to take that out, but also it being something that is, contactless, and that you are able to better socially distance because there's not another person there, but also the price. These days people are looking at things being more cost effective. I want to get more into that. I love what you were talking about with Spin Touch, how you were able to pivot. And I think that's a great message here for other businesses as well, because I think, as they're kind of looking to navigate where we are and what is looked at as a new normal, Pouya, would you think that kind of is the key for all businesses to be able to look for ways? I mean, I think about now businesses that weren't offering certain services, now being able to offer those things like curbside. That do you see this kind of being a way that Spin Touch was able to kind of pivot and to meet their customers where they are by offering something that was beneficial for the time?
Absolutely. I think now more than ever, businesses and individuals are understanding the importance of being able to pivot when something or a strategy is no longer working. And I think that the businesses that are resistant to change are being affected the most, right? And you're seeing that across the news. You're seeing that from certain small businesses. But the ones that are really, really taking the initiative to put something in place, and I think to a degree, every business out there has the capabilities of pivoting to some degree, like you mentioned, the curbside pickup or going virtual or going online. There's a lot of opportunities there, and a lot of resources that business may have, but they don't know that they're valuable or resourceful, that they can leverage in other means and potentially either cut costs or increase revenue in some degree, rather than just hang out and see what happens.
Right. There's another aspect, Pouya, to what you mentioned. I want to say, though, for those who are just tuning in, is on the radio side or online, we're excited to welcome Pouya Hashemi to our program today. He's talking with us not only about how SpinTouch has been able to create a great product that's going to be able to help you guys in the workplace in particular, called Rapid Screen. It's an access control thermometer. It allows you to have contactless screening, which is a great service. And as Pouya was sharing, and if you guys missed it, you guys can catch the replay. He talked about some of the benefits outside of what some places are offering when it comes to temperature checks. One thing I wanted to mention, you mentioned, of course, is, and like in my experience, Pouya, where I was going into a building for a medical procedure that was there with my dad. And, of course, we want to be, make sure that we are screened as the participant or the customer if it's a service-based business. But also is one of the selling points for SpinTouch when it comes to Rapid Screen that also this is a way of protecting the employee. And I bring that up because a lot of the times that's what we're hearing these days, the employees not feeling safe, right? So is this also a way to make sure that the employees at businesses are feeling safer in their work environment?
You know, that's very interesting you bring that up, because when we first started to sell this product, we really thought that the big markets were going to be in retail or places that are going to screen customers. And it's been completely the opposite. I would say about 85% plus are companies that are looking to exclusively screen their employees. And that's probably due to a number of different reasons. They don't know how the customers are going to take it or understand it, or whereas their employees, again, like you mentioned, wanting to make sure that they feel safe in coming back into the workforce and coming back to the office, ensuring that their peers and colleagues that are standing next to them or have been screened to some degree. And it's not only them being screened by, an individual, but it's a transparent screening where everyone's going through the same machine, kind of very similar to like a TSA screening, where everybody sees that, being transparent, being very open. You get a sense of comfort that you're going through the same process as the CEO.
Wow. What a great thing. And I think, again, that's another thing, because these days we're talking about not just the consumer, but also, as I mentioned, as you mentioned, Pouya, the employers as well, and the employees, making sure they actually have a workforce to be able to handle customers when they're able to be able to take them in. So, I think, as we're having a conversation like this, and we're so grateful, of course, that you were able to recover. This is a great way for people to, for one thing, to think about one of those things, Pouya, that a lot of times we don't, and that is our temperature, those little early warning signs that may be, something that we can take notice of and say, okay, maybe I need to see if there's any other symptoms I might have. And I think that, of course, is a great thing for all of us to think about. Again, everyone, Pouya Hashemi has been our guest today. We've been talking with him not only about what it's been like for him with SpinTouch to be able to be innovative in creating great products for their customers, but also with Rapid Screen, how they're able to offer contactless screening for employees and customers to be able to help them to be able to see if the person who's going through does have a temperature temperature, to be able to give that warning so that person can not only be alerted, but also the business can be alerted as well. Pouya, I appreciate this time. How can our audience find out more information about Rapid Screen?
Yeah, by visiting our website, spintouch.com. That's spintouch.com. And right now we have some pre-orders available, and it's really the hardest part is making sure we can kind of satisfy the demand, because it's been kind of picking up depending on what's happening with COVID.
Right. Right. Well, we're glad to have companies like yours there. So get everyone, spintouch.com is where you guys can go. When you go to the website, you'll see there at the top, right next to home, you'll see a Rapid Screen. Just click on that and to be able to get an idea more about Rapid Screen. Pouya, again, thank you so much for this time. I really do appreciate it, and looking forward to having you back on the program again.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Cyrus.
Thank you. Hey, more than welcome. Definitely want to thank our good friend Zach Tepperman for setting up this chat with us for today, and thank all of you for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's make it a great one.